Saturday of the month. I like to plug that too. And donate their time here to the library to do an open tech help. So if you ever have any kind of technology issues or questions, you can come. And Derrick, often Derrick is here, as well as one or two other people that work with the company. But there's always at least one of them here who will help solve your technology issues, viruses, software, other devices, cameras, phones, whatever you bring.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. Whatever you bring, they are here along with a staff of volunteers to help you with. So that's always the second Saturday of the month from 9 to noon in this room. I feel like it's one of the best kept secrets of the Park Ridge Public Library, so I'd like to promote it when I can. With that, I'm not going to bore you with much else, so I am going to turn it over to Derrick so he gets every moment that he needs to go through Android apps. And not apps, just Android. Oh,
okay.
They're all coming.
I went downstairs to the big meeting room. I really thought that we were going to have the big space, but that's okay.
Yeah, I thought we were down there too.
We will make it work. Okay, well I thank everyone for coming out right after dinner hour to join us here tonight. We're doing a little bit of everything when it comes to Android tablets during this session. And I thank Lynn for introducing us. Our company, FireLogic, we are based right out over here in Park Ridge. We do technology consulting, computer repair. I like to say almost anything computer related we pretty much handle. We do both residential and business alike. I'm Derrick, I'm the owner of the company. I founded the company back in 2010. Wesley, who just walked in, he's one of my, he's the lead web developer at our company. He does a lot of the day-to-day on-site repair with us. Ted's actually a special guest. He's been a longtime friend of mine. He works at the Museum of Contemporary Art downtown. I like to call him my Android guru because he's always tinkering and telling me about new Android things, so I thought who better than to have him over here helping us. Peter in the back, he's a new addition to our company. He helps us with on-site repair and training needs as well, so he's a great addition to our team. And all the way at the back on the camera is Lindsay. She's our administrative assistant, and she's filming the session today, so everyone can actually watch this online. We post all of our classes on YouTube, so if you have any friends that couldn't make it today or would like to see what we showed off, you can send them the link to this and they can watch it anytime they'd like. And as Lynn said, we do a lot of volunteer work here in town at the Park Ridge Library. We also do a lot at the Now's Library as well. We pride ourselves in all the volunteer work that we do. We like to give back to the local community. I grew up here and was raised here along with Ted and a lot of others on my team. So it's one of the few things that we can do to give back to Park Ridge. So you do see us here quite a bit, as well as the Now's Library, doing a lot of volunteer computer classes and such. Alright. So the agenda, did everyone have an agenda given to them, or did you pick one up when you walked in at the front? And there looks like there's a few more copies in the back. Pete can get any more copies for anyone that needs them. The reason we hand out agendas when we do classes is because we like people to be able to write down Q&A, questions, thoughts, or anything that they might want to ask us either during the training or after we're done. So there's a lot of white space on our agenda. Feel free to mark it up, write on it, do whatever you need to do to make sure that we answer your question. The nice part about having a small group like this is that we can do those one-on-one questions that you may have. I saw some people have brought in their tablets, which is great. I'd love to be able to help you with whatever issues that you're having. We got a lot of people from our team here tonight, so there should be no problem with getting those one-on-one things answered and helped out. Even if it's something that you want to raise during training, if it's something I can't answer, I'll have one of my assistants come out and help you out with that. Okay? And so we've structured the class in a few different sections. We're not just going to jump right into games and apps and things like that, because there are a lot of questions that people ask us when it comes to these tablets and the basics of using them, and there's a lot more to them than just going in the Google Play Store and downloading apps. So we're going to go over some of the basics, like, is a tablet right for me over a laptop? What are some of the things that you may want to look for when getting an Android tablet? Some of these things that people ask us week in, week out. We'd like to set the record straight and tell you our honest thoughts about those things. We're going to go over some of the basics of the tablet that we have here. We're using a Google Nexus 10 tablet. This is like the vanilla version of Android tablets. This is the one that comes out first, and everyone bases their models off of this. So we thought, what better way to train than on Google's base device that they offer. But we'll go over some of the other tablets that are out there in the Android sphere and some of the other alternatives like iPads and Surface devices, things like that. And then, of course, at the end, we're going to go over some of the apps that we use on a daily basis and that we like to play around with and tinker with. And we're going to show off some of those items. Some of them are built right into the Android tablet and come with it. Some of these items come from the Google Play Store, and likewise some of them are free, some of them are paid. The majority of them, as you can see on the back of our agenda, are totally free. Free is always great, but there are a few of them that are paid, and we'll go over which ones those are. And of course, at the very end, if there are any questions, we will be sure to answer anything and everything that comes up today. I just wanted to mention some of the upcoming classes that we have coming up this summer. We've got both Park Ridge and Niles asked us just around wintertime what we'd like to offer at both libraries, and we came up with a pretty interesting list of things. The full calendar through late August is on the front of the agenda for you, and just to give you a little preview of what all the different classes are going to offer, we have a brand new class called Introduction to Podio. Now, most of you probably haven't heard of Podio. Podio is an online workspace tool. It's very tough to describe what it is because it's so many different things. It's like a Excel mashed with Facebook, mashed with a little bit of LinkedIn, mashed with email. It's a little bit of everything. You can use it for personal needs, for work needs. We happen to run most of our back end of our business off of it. But me and Lindsay, we use it for recipes. We use it for all kinds of different things. So it's the jack of all trades when it comes to online tools.
It's really like a task management organizational tool that you can customize to whatever you need. Personal use, business use, stuff like that. So if you're interested in something like that, like you said, I use it for recipes and like stuff with my car, but also for the business side of FireLogic, we use it for like customer information, service calls, everything. So if you're interested in that, feel free to attend that.
We're going to be doing another round of our Introduction to Gmail class. This is one of our most popular classes that we offer. Gmail has gone through a lot of changes in the last few months. It's scared a lot of people. So we're going to be going through all those different changes, a lot of the basics surrounding Gmail. And if you haven't heard Gmail, Gmail's Google's free email platform that they offer. We're going to have a class on Office 2013, some of the new features that they're offering in there, some of the things that you could benefit from. And then we're going to round out the summer with some Google Apps classes going over Google Docs and Calendar and Forms and things like that for personal life as well as for working professionals who want to use it for their business needs. So those two classes are going to be in mid to late August. So feel free, please come out to our other classes we offer. They're all free of charge. All you have to do is pre-register with either the Park Ridge or Niles Library, and we put down exactly which library those other classes are going to be held at. Okay, so some of the first questions that we get asked a lot, one of the things that has to be answered first off is, why is it that, what would I benefit from in terms of getting an Android tablet? Why would it appeal to me? What kind of things, would I be able to do with it? And why should I get one over a laptop? This is a big question that people ask us. We hate seeing when people go out and purchase a device just based upon what someone told them, and they, lo and behold, they didn't know some of the quirks or nuances with it. So I just want to go over some of the base things that go into that discussion of, do I need a tablet or not? So tablets are great because first off, they're easy to carry. They're very mobile. You can put them in your purse. You can put them in your backpack. There's really not much to them, unlike a laptop or anything else that has cords and dongles and things like that. A tablet's nice because it's pretty much just a little slate that you can put away in your bag and take with you. Going along with that, they are lighter than laptops. There are some laptop replacement tablets out there that are also very small, but in general, these devices are very minimalistic, small size, and you can get screens all the way from small as 5 inches all the way up to about 11 or 12 inches. So they make a tablet in every single size and every flavor for what you may be looking for. These are great for people that happen to be traveling. If you're going overseas or you can't take a lot with you, obviously taking a 1-pound tablet is a lot easier than carrying a full laptop that may 4 or 5 or 6 pounds. So they're very nice and mobile in that regard. One of the biggest things that tablets are useful for is consumption. This is one of the sticking points that I like to make clear for everyone, because a lot of people ask me, well, can I just go ahead and dump my laptop or desktop in exchange for a tablet device? And that's where I question them and ask them, well, what do you want to use it for? Do you want to use it to watch videos? Do you want to use it to check your email? Are you going to be writing papers on it, number crunching in Excel? What kind of things are you going to be doing with this tablet? Because that's one of the big determining factors whether or not a tablet is right for you, based on what kind of tasks you're looking to do on it. Consumption, as I put over here, video watching, just taking in things off the web, just looking at different things off different websites, that is what tablets are best suited for. They are not well suited for creation, making videos, making documents, writing long letters, writing long emails, anything like that, because they're very awkward to use and for long periods of time when it comes to typing tasks or number crunching, things like that.
And I'd like to add, at my work, we had someone that actually was, I asked the same question, are you looking for a tablet or are you looking for a laptop? They decided to go out and purchase an iPad at the time, and they thought they could do everything on it, but sadly, they ended up returning it and picking up a laptop. They could just do a little more than necessarily a tablet. Now, I'm not saying tablets aren't good. They have their place, they have their use, and I think you're going to see them everywhere and anywhere you go. So I just wanted to add that. So thank you, Tim.
How about with an addition to a keyboard? Not to that iPad.
I've had a few people that have added the keyboard, and it's still not exactly the same. It does make the typing experience much better. Our director at my museum does have an iPad. She does use it. She does use it with checks emails. She does type on the keyboard itself, and in that sense, it does add a layer. Although it's still not exactly the same. It's kind of hard to explain with the environments.
One additional thing I want to add to that. With the keyboards for these devices, a lot of them, they'll come with the USB attachment. I highly, highly recommend against that, because most of them, they don't fit right in the device, or certain devices won't have the support for it. If you're looking for a tablet and you're looking to have a keyboard integrated with it, where you're going to be using it for your day-to-day activities, go with one that does two things. One, runs on AA batteries for the keyboard, and B, supports Bluetooth. You want your device to support Bluetooth so that you can use a Bluetooth keyboard, because then you don't have a wire dangling off the side of your case, and it'll work over this Bluetooth connection rather than over a wire. It's much more reliable.
And usually these keyboards themselves typically last several months. I can tell you that, at least for the last keyboard we picked up for our director at the museum. It doesn't have AA's, however it is rechargeable. But it only requires a charge every once every 3 months, 4 months. So in that sense.
Yeah, and there's a lot of keyboard options. Like for our Nexus 10 tablet, there's a lot of choices out there. iPads, obviously, tons and tons of choices. But as Wes said, going with a Bluetooth and going with one that has its own batteries is a lot better than one that plugs in and relies on your tablet's power, because you're going to see your battery consumption, drop, faster, probably even another 10–20%, as opposed to what you normally see.
But definitely make sure that the actual device says that it supports Bluetooth. A lot of them don't include it, because it's a cost-saving measure. It's one less thing they have to add. You can pick up $100 tablets that have a decent processor in them that have Bluetooth. Just make sure to check the box before you buy it.
One of the other great things about tablets, that is a great selling point about them, and probably a reason why a lot of people in here are interested about them, is because they're very simple. As opposed to any kind of regular computer out there that requires updates and maintenance and things like that, all tablets out there are generally pick up and go simple. Pick it up, turn it on, download some apps that you want to use. There's not much you can break on it. And even if you do break something, it's usually something that can be reversed with a factory reset or things like that. Some things that are a lot harder to do with a traditional computer. So in that sense, tablets are great for people that are new to computers, someone that needs just something for a little light web browsing, a little light Netflix watching at night. That's where a tablet would come into play. That's where a tablet would be handy. Those people that might be a little more scared about maintaining a traditional computer for themselves. One of the other great things is that they have either iPad or Android tablets, and even the new Windows tablets that are coming out. Very large app selections now. It's getting to the point where anything and everything that you want is available. You just have to be able to sift through it and find those things that work for you. As you look on the back of our agenda, 95% or more of our apps that we selected to show off today are completely free. Of course, there are some paid apps that are worth buying. As for example, the Office Suite that we recommend is a paid program, as there, some of the free ones don't have as many of the features. But on the whole, there's a lot out there, so much free stuff, and it's a playground. You just have to try it, play with it, and see what works for you.
And generally, for Android tablets, they typically tend to offer free or at least ad-supported options, and then the options that you pay for to remove said ads or maybe add a few features are really rather inexpensive, like 99 cents or the like, but usually it's free. Typically for iOS devices, you have to pay a few more dollars or even more depending on what kind of product you're looking for.
But most apps in general, compared to box software you buy on the store shelf, they are considerably cheaper. As Ted was saying, almost 95%, if they are paid, they're under $5. The Office app we put on the back of our agenda is one of the rare exceptions where they're more than $5.
One thing I'm going to bring up about some of these tablets, since we're sort of moving into the app selection, when you're purchasing a tablet, one thing to look for, a lot of tablet providers, what they'll do is instead of including the Google Play Store, which is the standard app store for Android, it's supported by Google and it has all the Google supported apps. So if you wanted to play Angry Birds, you could download it in the Google Play Store. Now the problem is that a lot of the cheaper tablets, they come with their own app store that's supported by the manufacturer of that tablet. And these app stores usually don't have the full range of applications. So when you're going out to purchase a tablet, we highly, highly recommend that it's up to date as far as the Android version, and then two, it comes with the Google Play Store app that'll allow you to download pretty much any Android application that's out there that you might be looking to purchase.
And just to play it safe, you can usually go to Google's website, just google.com. They have a play section which ends up covering books, apps, movies, magazines, you name it. But they also have a devices section, and from there you could buy the tablets that is here, the Nexus 10, excuse me, and the Nexus 7 are both available, and that will include the Play Store without any problems. It's the safest, best bet. You can pick it up directly from there. And I believe some retailers as well also offer the tablets. I believe Best Buy started doing it.
Best Buy offers them, Staples offers them.
Getting the Nexus 7 or the Nexus 10 are both very good options, and you're almost guaranteed to have it work.
Yeah, it's just funny that Wes mentioned that, because so many people bring these cheap tablets that they get. I mean, they're fine for what they do, but a lot of people want to go and get Overdrive, for example, the library's free ebook system, where you can download ebooks from the library. Those very cheap tablets don't support that. So that's something that you really want to take a look at before you buy, because sure, you can go to Big Lots and get that $80 tablet, but you won't be able to use Overdrive, you won't be able to watch Netflix, you won't be able to do a lot of the things that we're showing off here today. So there is some issues with fragmentation in terms of these super cheap devices where they are at a certain level that you won't be able to do that much with them. So that's just one thing to be careful about.
One of the best examples is of a third-party store that I'm sure many of you not even own this device. The Kindle Fire or the Kindle Fire HD only has apps available through the Amazon store. There's a lot of applications, don't get me wrong, but there are certain Google applications that might not be supported by the Kindle. So when you're going out to pick a tablet, one thing to keep in mind, if you wanted a Kindle tablet, and maybe that's the Android tablet that you were thinking of, there is a Kindle app available for Android, so you don't necessarily need a Kindle app to download, Amazon ebooks or Amazon applications. You can download the exact same store that Amazon has after you purchase your tablet and use it just like a Kindle.
Very true. And then the other thing is, in general, the Android tablets have a little bit lower price point than the iPad devices. I was price checking this tablet and the iPad 4, I believe, and it came in at about $100 cheaper. And then they have a Nexus 7, which is a 7-inch screen, and then the comparable to the iPad Mini. Again, it's a little bit cheaper. I'm not dissuading you from getting an Apple iPad by any means, but the price point in general, you can get them for a little bit cheaper to save a little bit of money.
Last I checked, the Nexus 7 was $199. I was actually looking at getting one, so it's definitely a lot cheaper. And for the amount of hardware you get for it, it's a very good device. And also, there's one more thing I want to add. I'll mention that later.
So here's the flip side. Why tablets may not be a good choice for you. So here's some of the things that a lot of people come to us with and find out that a tablet can't do. So as I said, creation. If you're going to be looking for a device for primarily creating Excel documents, Word documents, spreadsheets, editing videos, editing photos even, besides simple edits, tablets aren't a great thing for that. They're not really made for doing that kind of production-oriented work. Again, they're meant for consumption, not for creation tasks. They're not very powerful in that some larger games, don't work too well with them. Again, number crunching, some of these hardware-intensive tasks that you may be looking to do with them. If you're looking to play the cool games out there that are on store shelves, you're going to want a regular computer, not a tablet device.
I can tell you also the fact that, like, for Office in general, me personally, I installed Google Drive onto my tablet. It was great, and I was able to see my Word document, but it wasn't able to support equations, and I really needed to use equations, and it would not work in the tablet. It would only work on the desktop browser. So that's one thing also to note. I mean, you're going to have limited functionality when it comes to working with Office applications in that sense, if you're trying to go directly off of Google Drive. So.
Also, in terms of the tablet that you choose, if you are looking to play an Android game, something that's more recent, some of them require higher level graphics. So that might be something to consider when you're purchasing your tablet. If you're just going to use it to read ebooks or surf the internet, it might not matter. But if you want to do a lot of heavy gaming that requires a lot of processor intensive tasks, you might want to look at getting a more powerful tablet that maybe has multiple cores to it.
And again, Nexus 7, Nexus 10 are very good options.
Question
about Minecraft? Is that an issue with some of these? I know that's a huge
do they offer Minecraft?
They do offer Minecraft for Android.
They do.
It does not work with the desktop version. You only can play with other Android users.
Also, you can't host your server on a tablet. You have to host your server on another machine.
That was a question for my son.
Oh, it's okay. Sure.
One of the other things that tablets aren't great for, again, aside from the ones that come with keyboards, yes, it does make it a little bit easier, but if you're looking for a smoother typing experience, you're going to be doing a lot of typing. I'm talking at least a few hours a day. Tablet's probably not a good option for you. Again, they do have the third-party add-on keyboards. They do have alternatives like the Surface from Microsoft that come with keyboard covers. They work, but if your job primarily is day-to-day working in Office documents, you're not going to be the happiest camper on a tablet device. It's just not as nice and it's not as comfortable of an experience for people. Usually from what customers tell me.
Also, you're looking down at most tablets while they have the keyboard set up, as opposed to a laptop, which would have a little higher screen. So you're going to have a lot of neck strain constantly looking like this all day. So,
yeah, if you don't get a keyboard with your tablet, you are typing on your lap like this, flat screen. So you're looking down and you're typing on a touchscreen like this. It's not the most comfortable experience for long periods of time. So that's something I always warn people about.
One thing to keep in mind also, you're going to see a lot more of these laptops sort of be mesh the whole hybrid area between a tablet. And you're starting to see that now with the Surface Pro. The Surface is more considered it's the more tablet side necessarily than the more workstation side or desktop side. So you're going to start seeing this sort of mesh happen and perhaps maybe transition over from solely laptops. So it's going to be even harder to distinguish what can do what. And so that's also very important to note. So.
And one of the last things I wanted to bring up is that majority of tablets, even the Nexus, which I think has a decent selection of ports, you're still not going to have the selection that you do get on a regular laptop. If you're looking to connect your printer at the same time as listening on your headphones and connecting your external mouse to the device, it's just not going to happen with a tablet device. You know, some of them, like the Nexus, do have a USB port you can add on. You know, some devices, they do have a little bit of flexibility, but you're not going to be dangling off all kinds of devices that you're used to with a regular computer. So do keep that in mind for yourself. Some of the basic things that are most important when searching for a tablet. This is some things that people always ask us. What should I be looking for in my new tablet? One of the biggest things that differentiates them is screen size. So as I was saying, you have very small tablets from like the Kindle devices to very large ones like the Galaxy Tab that are almost 10, 11, 12 inches sometimes. So screen size is going to be a big factor for most people. Usually the ones with the larger screens have larger battery lives, so some of the smaller ones, between about 5 to 6 hours battery. Some of the larger tablets like this Nexus, this gets about 9 to 11 hours of battery life, but there are ones that get even more. So battery life is also something to consider, especially if you're doing a lot of flying and you want to get the experience to be able to use that tablet all the way on the flight. Make sure you find something that has the battery life that you're looking for. Again, ports, you're limited in terms of selection of ports these days on the tablets, but the Nexus, for example, has USB and the HDMI, so I can connect my tablet to my projector like I'm doing here, or to a TV, connect my keyboards or things like that. So if you're looking to connect some of those things, make sure you have one with ports that will work with that. Another important thing, some people, there's a misconception out there that all tablets are as nice for handwriting as the next tablet, and that's not true. This tablet, for example, does not have a touchscreen that's good for detailed note-taking. It is only good for working with stylus pens that have a bumpy tip on them, a sort of a rubber tip. So as opposed to what you may have seen in the past with like PDAs or Palm Pilots where you can write really nicely, you can't use a pen like that on this. Some other tablets, like the Galaxy Tab that I put up here, you can do that. It has a different kind of touch screen, and you can do very nice drawings, very detailed writing. So that's something to keep in mind if you are planning on getting a stylus to do writing on your tablet. It's a big difference out there. I want to say something about the software. This is particularly important in the whole Android tablet sphere because there are two camps. You have the Google devices, like the Nexus device that is first party and that has no limitations on the software, and then you have customized software, which is pretty much everyone else, Samsung, LG, all the other tablet makers, where they put their tweaks and touches and everything on it. But the Google devices tend to have support for a much longer period of time, and these customized devices, pretty much everyone outside of Google, they don't last as long with updates, and they're a little bit slower to get updates. So that's something you also want to be mindful of. And the final thing is storage size. Some people ask me, do I need 64 or 128 gigs to use my tablet? No. If you're just doing basic web browsing or watching Netflix or making few small documents on your device, unless you're going to be hosting your whole music library and video library, there's no reason to spend that extra money on those extra large tablets. Go with the base option.
And in many options, they offer you a little micro SD card slot. You can plug your own storage in, and you can get anywhere from 32 to 64 gigs of storage just from that little card.
There's a 256 gig micro SD card now.
That's new. I didn't know that. Storage is increasing rapidly.
So everyone asks us what tablet do we like to recommend. That's the one we're going to be showing off here in terms of, and this is for Android tablets. Some of the things we like about this one, has a nice 10-inch display. It's better than HD, has better resolution than you see on your high-definition TV. Again, it's a small screen, so questionable how much of that you're going to notice, but it does come with that. Again, it uses the stock Android software on it. It's got a nice port selection, a lot of different cases that you can choose from, and the price point's very good. Brand new, you can get it for about $400 for yourself. Used, you can get them for about $350, $300 sometimes. And there's the prices on some of the other competing tablets out there. So for the price point, I think it's a pretty decent tablet, a very good tablet, especially for the features that it offers.
And one of the nicest things about this tablet, and the same goes for all the Nexus devices, this tablet will always receive the most up-to-date version of Android, which with a lot of the other tablets, you'll get the updates later. With any of the Nexus devices, you get them as soon as they come out. You can upgrade that same day that Google releases that version of Android.
Right.
Alright, so let's take that out of. Alright, I guess what should we start with next first? Oh no, widgets. That'll be important.
Let me go work into the other account.
Why don't you want to let you know how to do it?
Yeah, I'm going to go over the ports first.
Yeah, and then I can go over widgets.
Okay. Okay. So even though we're showing off a Nexus 10 device here today, all Android tablets, or any tablet for that matter, is going to have all these same basic features. It just depends on what location you're going to have them on your particular device. So first things first, a lot of people, and me and Lynn were talking about this earlier, a lot of people are confused even as opposed to where the power button or the sleep on-off button is on the device. On this particular one, and most of the time it's a single little button. On this one it's the upper right-hand corner of the screen. If I tap it once, it's going to turn it off for me. If I tap it again, should bring it back on. There we are. So most of the time that button is used to turn the device not on and off from a total off state, but they're usually in sleep mode most of the time. And the reason for that is because most people want to take it out of their bag, turn it on really quickly and start using it. If we had to shut it down all the way and turn it on all the way every single time, it would take too long, to have to do that.
But if you wanted to, you could just hold the power button and you'll be prompted with the menu to power down, restart.
Yeah. So holding down that sleep button, no matter which tablet you have, you hold it down for, I'll actually show it to you here. I hold it down just for 2 seconds or so. It gives me the option to go ahead and power off my tablet.
You also have the option to set it to vibrate as well as change the volume as well.
But it differs per tablet. In the case of the Nexus, it brings up those additional options.
But you're always going to have power and restart.
Of course.
In terms of volume, this is pretty common as well among most tablets. This one has it right by the sleep power button towards the top. It's a volume rocker, just like the iPad has. If you go up, it goes volume up, go down, volume down. Our tablet, for some reason, having a technical difficulty. We can't get volumes turned on today, even though it was working yesterday. But if it was working, the little volume rocker would allow us to go up, down, and we can also mute, as it is right now. It's in mute mode for us. So if you're on an airplane and you want to have the sounds turned off, things like that, you can quickly mute your sound for yourself.
Derrick, it's set to HDMI mode. It's trying to put the sound out to the projector that doesn't have speakers.
Alright, we'll see. Hopefully it does.
We'll address the issue with that.
This also has, as I was saying, this has a connector, a micro HDMI. So this is a connector at the bottom of the tablet. I can plug in this cable, go to my projector. A more likely scenario for you at home, if you want to connect this to your TV, same connector you'd be using. If your Android had a micro HDMI, you could buy a cable just like this. It's cost me about $8 online. Buy a cable, plug into your tablet. Other end into your TV. It handles both video and audio, and you can watch Netflix right off your tablet. You don't even have to get a smart TV or a laptop connected to your TV. You can just plug your tablet in, put it on your coffee table, and you can watch movies the whole 9 yards, whatever you on Netflix or YouTube, whatever that you would like to peruse. This tablet also has a dock port, so if you got a cover that included a keyboard that connected to it via and took power from the tablet, it has a dock port on there, so that special cases can go ahead and close the device and power the device, things like that. So that's what those little connectors are at the bottom here.
And many other tablets also are going to have some form of pogo pins or dock connector, such as that. The Microsoft Surface, for example, has a has pins that it can snap in directly a keyboard. Or they're going to be releasing some more accessories for that one as well. That are going to change the features.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to see many of these tablets that offer you to kind of dock and go, or other options that will be available. I know Google was looking at some.
Most of the tablets as well have a headphone connector, so a lot of people want to be able to use music and listen to movies and things like that, or books on tape. People listen to them wherever they are, so a headphone connector is usually at the top or the top side of the device somewhere, so you should have one on yours where you can plug into. And some of them even double as microphone. They have the tri-connector, so you can do microphone, like the new iPhone style headphones that they offer today, so you can even speak while you're doing Skype with someone, so that's pretty neat. And then the final port on here at the top is a micro USB, and with that port you can charge. I was charging my tablet before we started today. I could plug in an external hub, so I can plug a mouse and keyboard in if I wanted to. Once you have a USB port of some sort, you can plug into almost any device out there except for printers on tablets. But in general, micro USB is the gateway to using almost any kind of accessory.
And many tablets nowadays will include a micro USB port, and it's actually a lot better than trying to, let's say, get an iPad. And at many occasions, like, do you have a lightning adapter so I can plug in my iPod? And I'm like, I do not, but I do have a spare micro USB. So that's just one nice thing to have with these tablets, that typically you always have a cable available in most cases.
So when it comes to Android, the iPad alternative to the all-encompassing home button, all the iPads usually have a single button at the bottom of the screen for themselves, where you can always get back to the starting point for yourself. In the Android world, the way that works is we have, and again, it might be different depending on the device, but since this is the most basic version of Android, I'm going to show it off the way it is here. This little button in the middle, it's a touchscreen button actually, and you can see it right on the screen there. That's the home button. So no matter where I am, if I go into my Flipboard app over here and I want to get out of this and I want to go back to the home, I can hit that home button no matter where I am. It's universal. Every single app that you may be able to go into, you can always hit home and get out of that app. So it's the simple, easy exit. It's like on your phone hitting the end call button. It always takes you back to that home, the home space for you. Depending on what app you're in, on the left-hand side to the left of the home button, we have a button that takes us back. So that might be useful if we're going between a few different apps. So if I go into my app over here, if I go into YouTube, and then I went to, for example, check out another different video for myself, I'd be able to just go back to where I was previously. So the back button works just like in your web browser on your computer. It takes you back to the previous place that you were. So it's an easy way to navigate easily without having to research or retype things for yourself. And to the right of the home button, we have a little option that allows us to bring up pretty much every running app that we have opened on our tablet. So this is like a little slider bar that brings up a quick selection menu of all the different apps open. So if I was in something earlier and I didn't, I forgot what place on my home screen, if I had so many apps, like some people, got hundreds of apps at different screens, and for some people it's just easier to open up the quick pick list and go back to where they were. If I want to go back to Play Store, I could just bring up the slider and go into here for myself. And likewise, if I was in the Play Store and I wanted to go somewhere else, hit that same button and I can go ahead and scroll left and right for myself.
You can swipe these away, but you really don't need to. You can just leave them open. Android itself is smart enough to realize what resources are needed where and will adjust accordingly. So you can keep as many apps as you like open. You shouldn't notice too much of a battery drain.
This is more true of the newer copies of Android. If you're still running version 2.2 or 2.3 or anything older like that, I highly recommend that you actually do close your apps, because A, your device only has limited memory, and B, the multitasking isn't quite so good.
And I just want to make a note, I am using a Stylus device to do everything that I'm showing off here today on the screen, but likewise I can do the same thing with my finger. There's really no difference in terms of what I'm doing. I just like the Stylus because my fingers are a little sweaty sometimes and it's a little tougher for me to use a touch screen. That's why I like a Stylus, but again, a Stylus device also gives you a little more preciseness, so for some of those dialog boxes on the screen that you may have a tough time with, you know, a little $1, $2 Stylus could be a lifesaver for some people that might otherwise get frustrated. So that's that. In terms of what kind of Stylus, again, that depends on what kind of tablet you get. As I said, some tablets are made for the hard plastic, fine point touch stylus. This kind of tablet only works with a rubber bumper stylus. So you have to find out which one yours works with before purchasing that stylus. Otherwise, you're going to be disappointed when it just doesn't work when you try to hit the screen. Some of the basics in terms of how the interface is laid out for us. And again, this is something that differs depending on what kind of tablet you have. The Galaxy devices from Samsung are a little bit different than the stock Nexus devices from Google, but in general, it's a similar experience is what I like to say. So what we have here is one particular home screen with a lot of our different apps on it. And the way that works, and Teddy, you correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but we can create as many home screens as we want. What would you call these?
I believe they're actually, you can only get up to 6 or 7.
6 or 7.
And depending, you might be able to modify it to do as many as you want, depending on the different launcher that you use, which I won't get into details.
Okay. But they're basically just different quick launch screens. So if you think of your computer desktop that you use at home, this is basically like having 1, 2, 3, 4 different kinds of desktops, up to 6 or 7, as Teddy was saying, where you can place different icons for yourself. And Teddy also reminded me of this. Not only can I place apps on my screen for myself, I can also go in and I can add widgets for myself. And there are widgets that come with most apps, if I'm not mistaken.
Many do.
Many apps. Many apps come with little widgets that you can add. For example, the widget I have right on the screen right now is this Google search bar. I could go ahead and I could just hit this little microphone up there, and it's like Siri. It takes my voice and it analyzes what I'm saying and does a search for me. So it's going to try to do a search, but it's thinking I'm saying a little microphone up there in India. So we're all over the board. But ideally, you can go ahead, take this and speak into it, do a search.
I will say though, the Google Now actually is.
So there you go. Speak into it, do a search. It's getting part of what
it does a very good job at actually searching. It just, I think he's talking a little bit too quickly for it to.
Yeah. Again, a little bit of a quiet room. You're the only one talking. You can do a nice search for yourself.
And you can.
Oh, there we go. You're the only one talking.
Why don't you search what?
You might want to clear that before you search for anything.
Search like, what is the weather? I wish the audio was working because it would tell you the weather.
What is the weather in Park Ridge, Illinois? There we go.
From here, it actually would say it's 70 degrees, so on and so forth.
It's turned off at the moment, though,
Yeah.
with audio. For this, the search functionality of Google Now, I'll tell you off the bat, it's 1,000 times better than anything Apple's offering with Siri. And this is coming from a pretty big Apple fan on this side of the room.
Now, things to note though, Siri does have certain functionality in the sense that you can they're adding this to Google Now where you can control the operating system better in Siri than you can in, like you can tell Siri to shut off Bluetooth, it'll shut off Bluetooth. They're working with Google Now to update the features to allow it to do it, to do such things.
So there you go. That's the Google Now widget. That's a widget that comes pre-installed on this device, the Nexus device. That Google search bar comes pre-installed right on the tablet for you. So again, that's an example of a widget. And like I said, if you have an alarm clock widget, you can have a little alarm clock picture for yourself, all kinds of different neat widgets that you can install for yourself. On my Android phone, I have a widget that shows me the current weather and the time. So, again, up to your heart's content in terms of what kind of things you can put on this screen.
Again, the home screens themselves, you can make as large of a widget you want or as small. You should be able to, I believe, change the size of the widgets themselves as well. So if you wanted to take up your email client to be one home screen, you can definitely do that as well. So
also, if anyone likes the Google search widget with Google Now, the widget's not available for the iPad or iPhone, but the Google Now app is.
Some of the other basics about just the interface itself for newcomers to the Android sphere. You can swipe down on the upper left-hand corner for yourself, and this is where both your times show up, your date, as well as notifications for updates, new emails that have arrived, anything new in terms of, again, notification. It's like your notification center, and you can quickly clear out any items that are in here by hitting this little layer of bricks, I don't know what you'd call it, up at the upper left-hand or right-hand corner of that.
And some things to note also is you can swipe it away, or you can expand it depending on what kind of message it is. If it's an email, you want you only see the subject title, you can actually should be able to leave a hold and click, and I think drag down, and then it'll expand it for you to allow you to see more details. Or you can just click on it to go directly to the app and or message that you received.
Some of the other basics about the interface on the upper right-hand corner, and again, what I'm doing here is I'm swiping. I'm holding on the top of the corner of the screen and swiping down. Same thing that I did on the left-hand side. The interface on this, just like the iPad, it's based all around swipes and what part of the screen that you're touching. So if I swipe down from the upper right-hand corner, I have basic options. I can go into my settings area really quickly, and I'm not going to go through all the different settings in here, but this is all the basics that you may want to change from what users you have on your tablet to the battery life and power settings for your device, your display brightness. So this is pretty much like your computer control panel for your tablet. And if I want to get out of it, again, I can just click on that home button for myself. Going back into that little slider area up here, I have a quick little button for brightness. Wi-Fi, big question for everyone. How do I get on the wireless at the library or Starbucks or wherever I may be? If I go ahead and I click on that Wi-Fi button that was there, I'm brought to a list of all the different broadcasting hotspots that are open right now. And again, just like on a computer, the ones with locks on them have a password, the ones that do not, as it should be for the library Wi-Fi, yep, right now, does not have a lock on it. So this is very simple. Click on the one that you want to go into, and again, depending on where you are, the name is going to change. If you're at Starbucks, it's going to be ATT Wi-Fi. If you're at the library, it's going to be PRPL hotspot. It's based upon where you are. Wi-Fi does not, these names do not travel with you wherever you go. It's based upon your location that you're at.
Real quick, one thing I want to point out to you guys, if anyone at home has a Comcast connection, there's two Wi-Fi hotspots for you. You just pass it down. We have the Xfinity Wi-Fi that'll show up, and there's also a cable Wi-Fi. Should be higher. Yeah, it was on here a second ago, but either of those you can log into with a Comcast account. AT&T has their own version of this in some locations. So if you're in an area and you can't find a Wi-Fi hotspot, you can always look for those if you have a Comcast account.
Also, another thing to note is this is running 4.22, I believe, and the earlier versions of Android, there's a little bit of different way to get to the settings. There's a settings button that typically is there, and then you hit it and then go to settings directly rather than swipe down. That's one thing to be aware of if you're buying a tablet that has an older operating system than 4.22.
I can see my battery life really quickly over here. It shows me a big block for battery life. If I wanted to turn on airplane mode, going taking off or landing in any commercial flight, you can just use that, tap that, it'll turn off all your radios on your device. And then Bluetooth, if I wanted to turn that on or off to work with my Bluetooth keyboard, for example, I could do that as well right from there. Basic question a lot of people ask, how do I get between different users on my device? So very simply, where it says my name up in the upper left-hand block over there, if I just click on that once, it's going to take me back to the home screen. And I already have a test account loaded on here. Wesley has an account on here. I have my account, which is the blue one, and I can go between the different ones just by tapping the different name and then swiping to unlock for that particular person. If I wanted to add a new person to my device, and if anyone has a Google or Gmail account, this is the easiest way to go ahead and add yourself, because if you have a Google account or Gmail, you already have an account to be able to go on this device and work natively and get all the features of Android. So
that does not mean that you don't need an account. If you just want to use what Android provides, you don't need anything. But if you want to go to the Play Store, download apps, that's where it's going to be required.
One of the nicest features with the users on these tablets. This one's our company tablet, but I have my own Android tablet at home that's set up with an account. Now the way that this works is if I add a new app to my home tablet, I have it set up on this Nexus where if I log in, it'll automatically start downloading that new app and then setting it up to look like it does on my home tablet. So regardless of which Android tablet I grab or pick up, they're all going to be set up the same way. So unlike a computer where you can make it work that way, by default, just by having multiple users logged in with a Google account, it pretty much makes every tablet like the same tablet because all your data, all your information is in Google's cloud system as opposed to on your physical device.
Yeah, you sign yourself in, you have access to your email, your bookmarks on your Google Chrome on here, you have access to any notes you might have made, you have access to anything that might be saved in that ecosystem will be pulled into your tablet, and it's the same if you sign into an Android phone. Am I mistaken, or is that
Same process. The one thing also to keep a note of is the apps you purchase on your Google account that you have registered, I do not believe will copy. If you have another profile set up, like you have little Billy at home, and he has his own account, and you want him to play Osmosis demo, well, the demo's free, but the paid version of it, and you have it on your account, but Billy doesn't have it, you're not going to be able to necessarily play that without being logged into that profile.
It is complicated. There's a way to authorize an individual app if it's on one device. It's a pain, but generally you're correct.
That's just something to be aware of.
Yeah.
And one of the most important places, no matter what kind of apps you want to use, you're going to have to go through this Google Play Store, and just like if you've used an Apple device, which has the App Store, this is the same sort of thing, fairly similar selection in terms of apps, and I want to show everyone how to go in here, how to search for things, and the difference between free and paid items, how those look, so you can do this on your own tablet when you go into it. So let's go to the home area for the Play Store over here. Okay, so I can get to the home page of Google Play, and again, it's just like App Store, they're going to show you all the different highlights and cool things and new additions to the store that have been put in recently that you can look at here. Very simply, if I wanted to go ahead and do a search for myself, there's a simple search button, a little magnifying glass on the upper right-hand corner that I can use, and I can search for pretty much anything that I might want to find. I know everyone loves to play the Angry Birds game, so we'll do a quick search in here for that. And of course, most things that I search for are going to have a lot of results. And what happens is, when you do get results for anything you're searching for, notice how everything is divided between apps, movies, depending on what kind of categories these items exist in. If there are books with the name Angry Birds, you're going to find books on here, and magazines. As you can see, we have Angry Birds books already out there, Angry Birds music, I suppose. So there's definitely a lot of things to search for. I know that it is an app, a game that I'm looking for, so I want to just look within the apps category, and if I want to dig down within there, I can hit the item that shows the number of results for that particular category. So I'm going to hit where it says 6165 up here, and then it's going to bring me all the oodles of Angry Birds games that I can download for myself.
Bad Piggies, that's a good option.
And you'll see here, most of the highest rated apps, for whatever kind of search you're doing for, they're generally free titles. And as you can see, look at all the free versions of Angry Birds. Top row, second row, we only have, 3 paid ones in the second row. But most of the time, there's a lot of great stuff that is out there that is completely free.
The thing you'll notice, though, is some of the free ones, they might contain advertisements or in-game purchases. If you were, say, for example, to buy the paid version of Angry Birds, they give you an HD version as well as giving you additional levels for free or updates for free. If you want to scroll down a little bit, that's good. One of my personal favorites that I know isn't on the list is Reddit is fun. If anyone's into current events or keeping on top of topics, or where you don't want to do a lot of research yeah, Reddit is fun. It's in the upper right hand corner. It's the Reddit app for the iPad. It's really nice. Sorry.
And any app that you go into, again, you can easily see right on the home on the previous page I'm going to just hit the back button there. It'll tell you what the price tag is. This one is free. Obviously, when I go into it, it'll tell me how many people rated it. It'll show you the stars in terms of the average rating it's getting. It's an almost 5-star app. And with that many people that have rated it, over 116,000, it's probably a pretty good application. So again, you can decipher for yourself the validity or the quality of the app you're getting before you even download it by looking at what other people have said about it.
Over $1 million.
And you can even see, and even over on the left-hand side, I think they even have, oh, here we go, user reviews. So people even write up their basis for what they thought about the app. These 3 people all gave it 5 stars, and they told us exactly why. So again, if you're the person that likes to validate what you're getting before you download it, take a look at the app. It's very easy to do just by researching it with a few clicks and a few scrolls for whatever you may be looking for.
And I highly recommend that you look at reviews just to see what other people have said, primarily for the fact that you don't know sometimes what you're getting on the Android market or even the iOS market, because there's a lot of good apps, but there's also a lot of copies or bad apps that might end up harming your device. So that's one thing to keep in mind of.
This is not device oriented, but I noticed on the news page when you're looking at news,
sure.
There's an app called Zinio. I just want anyone who's got a Park Ridge Library card to know that we have a Zinio service. That you can actually use your library card with Zinio to check out magazines for free. There is a...
On that topic, go ahead, finish your train of thought.
That's all I was talking about. There is a limited list. It's not every magazine because we have to pay a subscription rate.
And in the event that you have a subscription magazine, a lot of the subscription magazines put out their own individual apps. So if you have a magazine subscription, in many cases, if you go into the Play Store or in the case of Apple, the App Store, you can usually download an application for the magazine you already have a subscription for, add your subscription ID, and they'll give you the application for free, where you get a digital copy of the same magazine you're currently purchasing.
Now, Google does have their own subscription service for magazines, as well as books, as well as videos or movies, I should say. So you can purchase them directly through there as well. I have a few magazines through them. Time, for one. I'm
showing pictures, screenshots right now from the Overdrive app. If you don't know, Overdrive is the free application you can get from Google Play as well as for iPads in the App Store. You can get this, and this allows you to download ebooks from the Park Ridge Library. We did a lot of showing off how to use this Overdrive last year and last winter. But this is a totally free app. You can go in here and you can search for
audio as well.
Audio as well. You can listen to audiobooks, as this Harry Potter here is an audiobook. From this screenshot here. So there's a lot of great content on there. Some of the books are, of course, checked out. The hot titles are sometimes all taken up because the system works just like a traditional book. You have to wait till someone returns it in order to get access to it, depending on how many copies the library has.
But you can put holds on it.
You can put holds on books. So it's pretty much the same process like a physical book, but it's all digital, and you get it right away as soon as it's available for you. So it's really nice and simple in that regard. Okay, so I showed everyone how to install the app. Very simple. Let me go back. I'm going to do a search for that Reddit app just so I can show everyone how simple it is to install apps. It is 10 times easier than anything you might have done on a regular computer. So if I want to put that Reddit is Fun app that Wes was talking about, I click on it. I like what I'm seeing. The reviews are good. All I have to do, as long as I'm signed into my Google account on my tablet, click on install. Accept the agreement that's telling you, and what this permissions page is saying, it's just telling you the different things that it's going to access on your tablet. So for example, this Reddit app is going to need to access my storage on my tablet, and it's also going to access my Wi-Fi. Now of course, it's a news app, so it's to be expected that it has to access some wireless, and it has to store a few things in the background. So I'm fine with that. I'm just going to hit accept. It's going to show me my progress. With the little bar up there, it says installing. In the upper left-hand corner, you'll then get a notification that Reddit is installed. If I want to just go right into it, right away I can click on it from there. It's telling me all the changes that they've made to the app. And there we go. So now I can start using it.
Do you mind if I show them something?
Sure. Go ahead.
Another thing to note also is, actually if you wanted this app, you use it a lot, and you're sick and tired of keep going to the little all apps button.
It added itself.
Oh, you. I wanted to show how to drop it in, but if you were interested in actually just dropping in your favorite apps. You would just click and hold.
Add wallet.
1 second, where is it?
Yeah, just use the wallet app as an example.
There we go. And I could drag it to anywhere I want, to whatever home screen I want, and drop it in. Same goes for the widgets. Let's do...
So it's just tap and hold to drag it onto the home screen.
And this will basically allow me to add whatever widgets I want through here and customize them the way I want. So that, I think that was just one important thing to note.
Yep, thank you for bringing that up. And I didn't even mention this big button over here. It's the big glaring button right over the home button. This button over here that's got the 6 little dots on it, that's the button where you can access every single app that's on your tablet at any time. So even if you may not have an app, most of the time they do install a little icon for you right on your home screen, but if it didn't, in the case of Wallet was hidden behind the scenes, all I had to do is click on that big little button with the dots on it. I can go at the top between apps and widgets, and I can see everything that is possible that I could go into or put right on one of my home screens for myself.
You can also swipe over one more time to see all the widgets, and you can keep swiping. But what's really important to note also is the fact that this is really what's different for between an Android device and also an iOS device such as an iPad. For iOS, all your applications are all on your home screen, and you only have so many of them. With Android, typically you have widgets, you can customize them, you can change them, you can do whatever you need to do. And so in this sense, this is one reason I really love Android. And it's one reason I keep going back to it, because I can customize it and make the experience my own.
What's the difference between a widget and an app?
Well, it's just the widget stuff you can do. You could use the app directly within your home screen.
It's like the app's running on your home screen. Sometimes they have limited functionality versus the actual app. Widgets are essentially there to display information that you might be interested in. So in case a clock, news feed.
And that's just what I added. So to see what I added right now, this is a widget I just added in. This is a widget. It's a clock. It's an analog clock. So if I wanted to know what time it was just by looking at a clock, some people like analog clocks better, like myself. I put a widget right there so I can tell the time very simply for myself.
And where'd you get the widget from?
Oh, I just went into the dots button above the home button, and then I went into, if I was in apps, I click on widgets at the top, and then I can scroll and see all the different widgets I can choose from. And your widget selection...
Are widgets associated with an app or not?
Sometimes they definitely can be, like in the case of the CNN app. If you were to download CNN, it comes with a widget, and you can drop the widget onto your home screen. So if you wanted a news feed, but you didn't want to constantly go through the app, you could configure a news feed that picks the categories that you want to read, and you can just swipe to it.
But otherwise, there's like generic widgets like that.
Clock,
that come with the system.
Yeah.
Email?
Yeah.
Try that with email. Evernote's a pretty popular widget.
Now you gotta move over to another one.
And what's that used for?
It's note taking. It's a really complicated, nicely advanced note taking.
Like on the Apple iPhone, it's got a nice notation.
Yeah.
Space. I don't think Android phones have that.
Oh well.
They may. I just don't know where it's at.
I've got notes on my iPhone, and I'll tell you that Evernote crushes anything that the notes have. It's better.
Yeah, Evernote is one of our recommended apps.
Okay.
I like Evernote. It's really cool. We're going to go over the apps right now. But in case you want to take a widget off or take an app off your home screen, very simply, hold down on the widget you want to take off or the app, drag it up to the top where it says remove, let go, and it's gone. That's all you have to do.
Two things to note. You saw that the widgets and the apps were all moving around it, so you can really customize where you want to put it as well. If you had another widget, you wanted Wallet up in the top where Chrome is, you can actually move that over, and why don't you go ahead and do that? You just, keep going. No. Put it first. Yeah, there we go. There we go. And same goes for app widgets, they'll move around for you on that. And this will not uninstall the application. This will only remove it from the home screen. That's important to know. If you wanted to uninstall it, you have to go back into the 6 dots.
Or can we go into settings? Or
No, you can do it directly here. Go back in the 6 dots.
Okay.
And then actually, since it's an app related to the widget, you want to uninstall the app itself, which will get rid of the widget as well.
Okay.
So, let's see, what do we not need?
You could probably get rid of the osmosis demo unless you want to.
I wanted to show that one. Get rid of Netflix. I don't think we're going to show that one off.
Unless
actually Netflix is on my list. I'm going to take the red one off.
Yeah, we installed that.
So. Alright, so I drag it now to the top. See where it says uninstall? Drag it and drop it. And that's it. It'll ask me if I want to do it. Click OK. It'll say installing.
Now it's removed from your device. For an iOS device, you typically have to go into the app, press and hold, and then the little X will pop up, and then you can hit the X, and everything's shaking. It's a little crazy.
Okay. Alright, so now we've gone over the basics of how to get around our device. I want to show everyone some of the apps that we put on the back of the sheet here. Again, a little bit of something for everyone, hopefully. And I'm going to have Teddy help me out with this demonstration because he's really good with these, with all these different apps. So first one we had on the list here was Google Chrome.
May I interject?
Oh, sure.
One thing to keep a note, sometimes, depending on what you have, like some really high-resolution games, if you decide to play them, will be over 1 gigabyte in size, which will take up a very large chunk of space onto your tablet. So that's one thing to keep a note on how much you're actually going to be downloading and what's going to be on there. But typically a lot of these apps that we have here are small enough that they won't really affect anything on that.
Yeah, I'll back that up. If you have a 5-inch tablet or you're using your phone, don't download the HD version of the application because it's just going to take up more space. And honestly, your device probably isn't going to use the HD version anyway.
And again, like everything that we're doing here is relatable back to the phone. So if you have an Android phone, the same applies. It gives you a much better experience just dealing it with a tablet than, say, a phone.
All right, let's get into some of the apps before we finish up today. So the first app on our list is Google Chrome. Same Google Chrome that you use on your desktop computer, you can also use on your tablet device now. And Ted, correct me if I'm wrong, Android tablets come with a browser,
yes.
But it's not Google Chrome by default, right?
No, for, I believe, the Nexus 10 devices, they've replaced the stock browser with Google Chrome. It tends to be a much better experience. If you don't see it on your device, you can most certainly install it. There's other browsers available. Firefox, Dolphin's a very popular browser for Android. So many other browsers exist, so you can install and toy with them as you please.
With Google Chrome, one of the biggest advantages is if you have Chrome on your home computer and it's linked to a Google account, and if you link that account with your Chrome browser on your tablet, all your bookmarks and all your user data from your desktop or laptop PC would then show up on your tablet, so you don't have to worry about saving bookmarks in multiple places.
I know the Chrome team is actually working on really making it a lot easier, where it auto-saves your address, it auto-saves all your information, but also while keeping it secure. So I know they're going to be working a lot more on making credit card transactions easier through the Chrome browser on both Android and the desktop.
Yeah, so Chrome works the same way as you might be used to on your desktop computer. The one thing I will show, if you want to open up multiple different tabs for yourself, you can definitely do so. All you have to do is hit this little, right next to the X button right over here, I can go ahead and open up a separate tab for myself. I click that, and I can go to any other website that I may be looking to go to for myself. And I can switch then between those tabs just like I do on my desktop computer. So again, it makes it nice and easy for me to have many different websites open without closing, reopening, closing, reopening every single thing I want to see. Okay? Next on our app list, for people that might like to read the news, I'm a news junkie myself, so I found this app called Flipboard, and Ted, you said you've used Flipboard
a little bit
as well. This is a completely free app that you can get for yourself. And Flipboard is actually, it's pretty cool because it works just like a newspaper.
Yeah.
If you go into it, you actually flip the pages just like a newspaper or a magazine for yourself. And they got all kinds of different stories that you can see. And of course, it goes newest to oldest for us. But it's very, I mean, this is as close as it gets to replicating what a newspaper or magazine feels like. So again, I haven't used this app too much, but just from what I've seen, the first few things, pretty neat. And it's got all those different areas that you might want to look at. In terms of sections here, oh my gosh, there's so many different things that we can see within here. I thought there was a, here we go. So this is the home page here. I can go into politics and I can then read
And you can customize that to your own.
Yes, you can make an account for yourself. You can make an account for yourself in here, and you can have whatever, whatever it is that you'd like to have. We have a general news section for all the latest stories right now, so it's very neat. Completely free, doesn't cost a thing.
It's very nice. It's a really nice app. I think that Flipboard is a really nice app.
Anything to add about this one, Ted?
No.
No, I
I'm
don't
going to
know.
download it right now.
There might be some.
Yeah, so this is
page. I don't know.
pretty neat.
If there is a
Many of the apps, not all, many of them that you are showcased here will have some form of application for, say, Apple's devices, or even the Microsoft Surface will have it in their App Store. Not all, there's a few that are select that are only in Android, and I can explain why, but definitely, like most of the main ones, like Netflix and Skype and Flipboard, are all available on different markets.
So there you go. That's Flipboard for the people that like to read the news in a fashion that replicates what a newspaper provides you. This one you've probably heard of, Skype. We definitely have to mention this one. I was trying to sign in to my account earlier, so maybe would have been able to do a quick demonstration. But this Skype app is completely free. Works the same way that it does on the desktop computer that you may have used in the past. Basically, you can start a video chat. I forgot to mention that this device and most of the tablets out there have a front-facing camera, so you can just let me see if I can sign into my account over here really quick.
That's one thing to look for if you're really trying to do video chat. Make sure it has a webcam. Don't assume that it does. Make sure that it's what you're looking for. I believe the Nexus 7 does not include a webcam, so that's one thing to keep in note.
Derrick, do you want to turn off the...
Yeah, probably.
Don't want that all over YouTube.
We'll all be Skyping you later today.
Alright, let's see if this works. Yeah, it's always when I'm demonstrating is when these things don't want to work.
Oh well.
Yeah, if it doesn't sign in, we'll continue forward.
It should work. We teach a Skype class in here, so I know.
Yeah.
It should
But Skype, it's an even simpler interface than it is on a desktop computer. Basically provides you with all your contacts. You can click on someone, quickly start a text conversation with them, or better yet, a chat, a voice conversation, or even better yet, a full video demonstration or a video chat with that person. So it's very nice, and people on iPad have been doing it for quite some time. Fairly, if I'm not mistaken, right? iPads had Skype as well, right? Almost every device has Skype available now. So again, completely free. All you need is a Microsoft account or a Skype account to use that for yourself. Moving forward, videos. Everyone likes to watch videos. So we put 2 video apps on here. One of them comes bundled with almost every Android device, and that's YouTube. So you can open up YouTube for yourself. It's pre-installed. And if you go onto the home screen for yourself here, it'll bring up your suggestions if you're signed in. But they have, you can search for any kind of videos on here for yourself. NHL playoffs are going on right now, so I can do a quick search over here for NHL playoffs. It'll bring up videos for me, and I can quickly click on something. It's a very easy app to use, and of course sound is not going to work because we're demonstrating right now. But if you just tap on it, it'll stop the video, and I can start playing it. And if I want to go into full screen, I click on the bottom right-hand corner of the video, and I can watch, of course, any parts of the clip that I may want to watch for myself. So YouTube's nice on a desktop computer, but I think it's even nicer on a tablet device.
I hate to even
interrupt.
Sure. I'm trying to keep
Sure,
my mouth shut.
go ahead.
The one thing I just want people to know about YouTube, maybe from a library perspective, is they have some of the most fabulous tutorials for almost anything. We mostly think of YouTube as like that, watching the best hockey thing, or who won an event, or funny videos. And my daughters always say, "Look at this video." I found on YouTube, but they have fabulous some fabulous tutorials.
I agree.
Like FireLogic.
I agree.
Of course. But even besides yours, some great tutorials on on how to use things.
I just installed a hot water heater, and I have my tablet next to me.
With the tutorial on, right? I've seen changing tires and
recipes, you name it.
Right, yeah. Which I think a lot of times we don't think of YouTube as that, as having that.
If you do a search for FireLogic, sorry for the shameless promotion, but we do have a YouTube channel. And we do put up all of our classes up on YouTube. So of course I went onto our YouTube channel and we have all of our classes we've done in the past before. So if you missed one of our classes, Windows 8, computer security, Gmail, Google Docs, any of those things, they're all up and available and you can watch it on your Android tablet. So there you go. Okay? Alright, enough of YouTube. Let's move on. Netflix. Most people do like Netflix. Netflix does have an app for the Android. Very simple to use. I already pre-signed into my account before we started here, so it should have some of the things that we've been watching at home and all kinds of different other things. But Netflix is just great. We tend to watch it off of our Xbox at home, but again, if I just have a tablet, I can sign in and I can watch any of these different things for myself right on here. Just click on it. And again, you have to have a paid account to use Netflix. So Netflix in itself is a free app, but in order to use it, you have to have a subscription. It's like $8 a month, but you have access to almost, it seems like, an endless amount of movies and TV shows and all kinds of things like that. So
they also do offer Hulu Plus, but that is a subscription-based service as well. You cannot just install Hulu and expect to play videos on it. You need to have their Plus subscription, but they do offer other videos as well that may be a little bit more up to date than necessarily Netflix. But Netflix is ad-free, however. Now.
So an Android tablet could pretty much be like a bona fide TiVo for a lot of people that don't want to spend all the money for TiVo and all the extras, and or even don't want to ditch their cable box. I mean, Netflix, a lot of people say you can ditch your cable box and just watch things off Netflix these days, so it's very neat. Simple to use, like I said, put it on your coffee table, connect to your TV, and there you go. You have a bona fide movie watching machine. For people that like to listen to podcasts, I'm one of those. Teddy introduced me to a nice app called AntennaPod, and Teddy, maybe you can explain some of the basics surrounding this app.
If you have a URL that has a feed that has a list of all the podcasts that you're interested in, let's see if I can find something here of my personal favorite. Let's see if I can find it. I wish I had this pre-set up. I could have showed it. Let's see if I can find it.
For those that don't know, podcasts are pretty much audio radio shows that all people of all interests develop, record, and they release them to ecosystems like this AntennaPod, and it's pretty much just an audio file that this app pulls in, and it's like a subscription. So if you like to listen to that, so there's a lot of stuff geared towards me. There's stuff about politics, and people like sports, so I mean, there's podcasts about everything. It's like a different world of radio, but at your fingertips, and you can download as much of it as you like.
My apologies. I wish I had this up beforehand. It's not the easiest. If you have the URL, you can most easily find what you're looking for and add it, and it'll automatically download the latest podcast that they had. And it's very easy to use. I just wish I had an example with me right now. Sadly, I do not.
And a lot of radio shows, like traditional radio shows out there, have podcasts that they let you download. So there's different news anchors or things or shows you like to listen to on the traditional radio. A lot of them these days have podcasts that they record, and you can subscribe to them and just listen to them at your convenience without advertising of any sort whenever you wish.
For free, right?
For free, yeah, for free.
My apologies.
Yeah, I don't believe there's any podcasts that are paid. They're all free as far as I know. Moving forward, ebooks. Of course, we're in a library. We should be showing off some things with books. So first off, I'm going to show off the Nook app on here. I personally don't have a Nook account, so I don't know how far we're going to get over here. But Nook is pretty much the Barnes & Noble version of Amazon's Kindle store. And you can go on here, you can purchase almost anything that's available in the digital form from the Barnes & Noble ecosystem. Of course, like I said, I don't have an account, so I can't show you how it looks in here, but it'll be very similar to the Kindle store where I can sign in, download books for myself, and read those titles right on here. Even though this isn't a Barnes & Noble Nook device, I can read any of the titles that I may have purchased off my Nook account if I had a Nook device or traditional Nook account for myself.
One thing also to add is a lot of textbooks are heading over to be digital. I know a lot of the university textbooks I've seen they offer a Nook option. So if you have an account, you can just, rather than deal with a physical copy, you can have all your books all in one area, and you should be able to view them on your browser, on your Android tablet, or wherever you need. You have access to a screen.
And Kindle, same thing, very similar. You go right in, you sign in. I would do an account for Kindle, but I didn't pre-sign into it, unfortunately. And again, I can browse all the different ebooks, textbooks.
It does require that you own the original device, correct? Like you have a Kindle account, you have to own the Kindle.
I don't believe so.
Like
No.
for the Nook, I myself have purchased it online, and I did not have a Kindle.
It's not
account.
tied. It's not tied to a Kindle device, so that's one thing you can know. You can purchase this and use it like a Kindle without having a traditional Kindle device.
But you won't be able to see it like Google Play has magazine options as well as book options. If you order it from there, you're not going to be able to see that in here because it's not related at all.
So that's Kindle, and again, those between Barnes & Noble and Kindle, almost the entire world selection of books, ebooks, is available between those two systems. So there's a lot of good stuff out there for you. And of course, the library's Overdrive app. Of course, I'm going to show that off for everyone. I can download that right from Google Play, and this gives me access to go ahead and download ebooks right through the Park Ridge Library website. There is a little bit of an instructional process to get this running, but it's fairly simple once you do it one time, and you can put books on hold, download books for yourself, and you know the selection is growing and growing on a monthly basis. So they are getting more titles as we speak. And these, you can rent them for up to 14 days, if I'm not mistaken, Lynn?
Yes.
14 days.
1 week or 2 weeks.
1 week or 2 weeks, and you can read it, and once it's all done, it'll just poof, disappear from your device, and you've returned the book. So there's no need to get up and drive to the library. It does it all for you right in the digital realm. So it's very neat.
Can you renew them?
You can't technically renew like you could if you call and say, I want to renew the item. But if it expires and you haven't finished it, you can't really do it if it's a really popular, but I've had items that have taken me longer, and I just go back into Overdrive, and if nobody's waiting for it, I just get it back.
Oh.
Unfortunately, but even in the library, if somebody is waiting for a book in the library, they won't let you renew it. It's kind of the same. You won't be able to get it right back, but if nobody's waiting, you just have to go back and check it out again. So it's like a renewal.
Oh.
And it will save your space.
Yeah.
When you open it, it is where you left off.
Oh.
For those people that have Google accounts, you have access to Google Drive these days, and Google Drive is like a Microsoft Office for the web. We did our whole presentation for the first part of this class right off of Google Drive. I made it on my computer at home, and then I downloaded the Google Drive app for the tablet, and I went in and I presented all the different slides that we have for our presentation. Again, this is just one example of the way that you can interwork between a regular computer and a tablet for yourself, you know, depending on what your needs are. So Google Drive is a nice light version of Microsoft Office. Again, it doesn't replicate everything that Office does, but if you're just looking to make, you know, some light documents for yourself, that's some of the things that we have in here. Some Google Docs that we had made previously. You know, you can use this as a light Office document creation machine.
And some things to note, since we're talking about Office applications and the like with Google Drive, Microsoft just released the Microsoft Office. If you have a 365 membership for iOS or Apple's products, they are planning on releasing an Android version to allow you to edit and create new Word documents. Now, if you use Google Drive, you should be able to upload and convert them to that format. However, if you're looking for more traditional and use a document, they are releasing it. I couldn't tell you when, probably very soon because they just released it for iOS. So expect to see that most likely in the Play Store soon.
So that's Google Drive. The current best solution for a Microsoft Office alternative is a product called Quick Office. And since I did not pay for the app, I really can't show it off too much for us. Yeah, it just takes me to go ahead and purchase it. But I have recommended this to other people. They have said it's very, very good. It probably replicates about 95% of what Microsoft Office can do on a laptop device. So this is as close as you're going to get until, as I wrote a little bit later on the agenda, that Microsoft Office is expected to hit the Android tablet very soon. iPad and iPhone's just got it a few days ago, if I'm not mistaken, and Android's got to be getting it in the next month or 2 months or so. So it's coming. Moving forward, just a few apps left that I want to show everyone. Of course, if it doesn't freeze on me.
You just freeze up.
That's surprising.
Maybe.
Too much HDMI.
Even Android tablets have issues sometimes. We'll let that come back up.
I was just troubleshooting an Apple device myself the other day.
So note-taking, a program called Evernote. If you haven't heard of it, Wes likes the app. I used to use it quite a lot. Not as much anymore, but it is, in terms of note-taking apps, it blows away anything that you may have used on an iPad or any other free note-taking apps. Evernote allows you to pretty much go ahead and create unlimited notebooks for yourself, and you can attach photos, you can attach voice recordings into it. It's like a digital scrapbook where you can attach websites, pictures, as I said, voice recordings, pretty much anything you can capture digitally, you can keep in Evernote for yourself. It is a very, very powerful note-taking tool, completely free. They have a paid version that has a few extra bells and whistles on it. But if you're just looking for a basic digital notebook tool that goes above and beyond what the other cheap notebook apps offer you, this is definitely the way to go.
I believe it includes the OCR as well. Might be built into it. Like if you take a photo, it might recognize what's in the text, if there's text in the photo itself, so you can copy and paste it through there.
Yep, so you can make some really nice notes with this. Again, give it a try. You probably will like it if you download it and give it a quick run. It's a very, very neat tool. And what's nice about it, you can work on it here. You can sign in on your desktop computer on the website. They also have apps for the new Windows 8 you can install on your Windows 8 computer. They pretty much have apps for web accessibility off any device out there today. So this is the first true note app that you can take onto a public computer, take it onto your private tablet, go onto your laptop and work on your notes. Anywhere you may want to go, you can get access to those notes right through Evernote. Osmos HD, I guess I'll let Ted, this is the one game that we wanted to show everyone really quickly.
I have a bunch of favorites, but this is like one of those moments where you just need to relax and just...
Like after this class.
enjoy yourself. It's basically kind of a conquering game where you eat the smaller ones to become the biggest ball around. So as you can see, these green or whatever darker hued colors are the sort of enemies, and your goal is to, let's just see if I can do this. You basically push in the direction I'm tapping, oh god. I'm tapping to move around, but I'm also losing little bubbles, and I can go faster but lose more bubbles. And my goal right now is to, oh god, nope, absorb all the tiny bubbles. And this is very soothing music, I must say.
But not the green ones?
No, those are the enemies.
Okay.
They're going to just bounce around randomly and absorb more and more and more and more until they're the bigger one. So if you're the biggest one on the screen, then you win. I won't finish this off, but it's really a very soothing and fun game.
Just
For those times when you're not under this much stress. So that's our one game that we wanted to show off today, but as you saw, Angry Birds has thousands and thousands of options, so you can have to your heart's content.
Derrick, let me get more.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Alright, well, my personal favorite, and it's a built-in Google app. If you're into a lot of music, let me I've got way too much email stuff.
And as we were showing, you can have your whole family on one tablet. So it's not like every person has to have their own tablet. The whole family can use one single tablet. I have an account on here, Lindsay does, Wes does. So you know, everyone can have an account and have their own apps and customizations that they want.
It helps if you know your own password.
Each being secure. So secure that Wes doesn't remember.
Well, I guess the trick is hitting enter when you're done.
The quick unlock setting must be off.
No, I'm good. Okay. Alright, so one of the best apps that comes with this, and mine's pretty stock. It's this one in the corner here, if you can see it. It's called Google Music. And it's a built-in app. It comes with most of the Android tablets.
Or you can always download it.
So it's going to ask you if you want to do their all-access pass, which allows you unlimited downloads. I'm not going to be doing that, but I do have my music library on here. So what you can do is on your computer, if you have iTunes or some other media program on there, you can download something called Google Music Manager. And what this will do is it'll take all your music, everything that's in iTunes. So if you used to be an Apple fan, you can switch to Android pretty quick, at least for music as far as that's concerned, using a program called Google Music Manager. It'll upload your whole library, put it all into Google's cloud, and they offer you something like 20 gigs of free storage space because honestly, they keep their copy of the song, they just identify what your song is and then add it to your library. So the way that this works is once you upload it, you have access to all the songs in your library. And this is literally, I got a whole bunch of podcasts, copies of Harry Potter. So it takes everything that's in your iTunes library and drops it into the Google Music app. And this is just a sample of all the stuff I have on there. But this is my personal music library. If our sound was working, I'd demo this for you guys. But it's really, really nice because this is something that I think Apple right now is charging almost $30 a month for. Unless you've purchased all your stuff through them. I mean, then I don't even think you have full access to it.
Actually, they're all access pass, I believe. If you buy it, if you get it now, it's $8 a month. I think after that is $10. They're all access pass where you can. It's pretty much acts like Pandora for those who are aware of Pandora. Where you can create stations and make it your own. But this is a little bit more personalized, where you can actually play whatever music you want without any restrictions.
And again, you dump them on your computer into Google Play Music. You can do it on your tablet. If you have an Android phone, you can listen to your music on the go off your phone. So it, again, allows you access no matter where you are, no matter what Android device you're using.
And the thing that's really nice, honestly, my copy of my music in my iTunes library, I'm missing half the album art. I tell